Hey everyone, my name is Devin Ricker, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be asking three different questions. We're going to be asking, can Saitama be a bodybuilder? So we're looking at the One Punch Man universe. Can he be a bodybuilder? And if so, how good would he even be amongst like our competitors in our society and also amongst the One Punch Man characters? So we're actually going to be doing a tier list. And I'm also going to be going over some of the questions that you've been asking me about fitness recently. I'll be answering those at the end of this video. This is going to be unique for my channel. I'm not going to be doing too much editing because frankly, I'm kind of tired of editing and I think YouTube's a little too quick paced anyway. So we're going to test this out. And not only are we going to be doing Saitama, but we're also going to be looking at a list of different characters that you can see here. We've got a lot of characters from One Punch Man, and we're going to be going through all of these in their own unique individual videos. And I'm going to be trying potentially a daily upload schedule, so be tuning in tomorrow for the next one, which is going to be Dark Shine. So first of all, let's take a look at Saitama. So we can see that he, according to fandom, I don't know exactly if this is 100% accurate, but this is what I have as far as stats go. We're looking at Saitama being 5'9" and 154 pounds or so. So that's actually pretty decent size for 5'9" as far as muscle mass goes. Now, if we look at actual top competitors, we can go to the IFBB Pro's website and see for the classic physique, which is kind of like, you know, you have the big open competitors, like the huge guys. Then you have classic, which are modeled after the 70s and 80s bodybuilders. And then you have the men's physique, which wear board shorts and are about the same as far as weight goes and stuff. So if we look here, we see, let's see, what was Saitama? It was 5'9", right? So we can see over 5'9", or okay, right here, including 5'9", up to 200 pounds. So that's like their weight limit. So they can be up to and including 200 pounds. So right off the bat, we see that Saitama is almost 50 pounds less than that. And most people are going to be trying to get to that 200 pound limit. So if we go over here, we can actually look at Brandon Hendrickson, who is one of the top men's physique competitors there is. He's won the Mr. Olympia a few times, and he usually is about, so he's 5'8", and he's usually about 190 on stage or so. So even by his standards in the men's physique division, we can see that at least at a Mr. Olympia level, Saitama is lacking a bit in muscle mass, right? So obviously, just in case you're unaware, bodybuilding is the showing of your body. All right. So that sounded weird the way I said that, but it is a sport in which most of the work is done outside of the sport, and in training, you're building up your body like a sculpture. And then you get on stage with other sculptures and show it off in a variety of different poses. And then we see how good your physique is compared to others, right? So it's not about how strong you are. Obviously, One Punch Man, Saitama, would win in a battle of strength against just about anyone, which could be debated. I'm sure a lot of you out there would love to debate that. But as far as bodybuilding goes, he wouldn't really stand up as far as Mr. Olympia would be concerned. So let's see. So we have, at least in my tier rating, I thought it would be interesting to go from the Mr. Olympia, which is like the top of the top, at least in this universe. And honestly, that would be pretty correlated with our own universe too. So we got Mr. Olympia, we got the pro bodybuilder. So that's someone who could potentially compete at a Mr. Olympia, but maybe isn't quite the caliber of the, you know, maybe top 3 at the Mr. Olympia. Then we have an amateur bodybuilder who is like, they usually have really great physiques as well, just maybe not quite as crazy as the pros. Then you have someone who's athletic. Think about maybe they work out, they do sports, maybe they have a really great physique, but not quite the physique of a bodybuilder. Then you have fit, which is like someone who maybe goes to the gym a few times a week. You know, you wouldn't say that they're overweight, underweight, or anything like that, but you could definitely tell they work out. And then like probably doesn't work out at all. So that's kind of how we're gonna rank these characters in terms of bodybuilding. So let's look at some pictures of Saitama. And this is from, I believe, the anime, the manga. I wanted to look at just a few different variations of it. So this is a really good shot of him right here. So you can see he has actually quite a good amount of muscle mass, right? So at least for the standard average person, he's not skinny by any means. You can see he's got good muscular separation in the delts, the chest, the abs, the quads. So you can see a lot of good separation, but you can also see that he's pretty narrow. So if we go back to our example here, let's see Brandon Hendrickson. So you can see like this guy, man, there's a reason he's Mr. Olympia. So this is what you're looking at for a Mr. Olympia caliber competitor. So let's go back to Saitama. So obviously he's lacking a bit in the width. A lot of times that we, when we look at bodybuilders, we look at the width or the V taper. So it's kind of like the shoulders to the waist ratio. So like that. And then let's see, you can also look at the X shape too. So Saitama is more kind of narrow like that. So if he really wanted to be a bodybuilder, let's say he's bored of just being the strongest all the time, and maybe he wants to go into the bodybuilding category, then maybe that would be a better challenge for him, because what he would need to do is probably up his chest gains quite a bit, up his shoulders, his arms, and definitely up his lats. So he has a really broad upper body, and then keep that small and narrow waist, and then increase the legs quite a bit as well. So he has more of that X shape to his physique. So let's see, we can see obviously also angle and lighting is a huge deal in bodybuilding. That's why people get really big spray tans and they get under like this heavy lighting, and you can just see all of the separation in the muscles. So this is actually a great shot for Saitama. You can see his chest actually looks a lot bigger here. Actually looks like he's got a pretty good V taper too, but he's still lacking quite a bit in like overall muscle. We can see another one here. This one, he looks absolutely shredded. He's extremely well conditioned. And I mean, it just doesn't get better than that as far as conditioning goes, but still pretty skinny. And then, you know, here, same deal. He's got a great physique. He's got a great physique for a normal person. But for a bodybuilder, I think he's lacking quite a bit. So I'm gonna place him, and this is gonna be subject to change as we go from video to video. I might determine that maybe he needs to go up or down a category. So I'm gonna place Saitama in this tier list right now, and I'm gonna put him in the, I think he would be fit / athletic. I'm gonna go ahead and place him in the athletic category, because I think he could do really well with that body style, that body shape in a lot of different sports. So you're gonna see a lot of competitors coming up, especially in the very near future, that could be a pro bodybuilder and maybe even the Mr. Olympia. So stay tuned for that. Now, before I end this video, let's go ahead and answer these questions. So can Saitama be a bodybuilder? Maybe slightly on some amateur level, he could do okay. He would definitely be in the men's physique division as far as I'm concerned. Could potentially do amateur classic, but he wouldn't do well enough to say that he's a really good amateur bodybuilder, in my opinion. Now, if so, where would he rank? He would definitely be right middle of the tier, I'm guessing, amongst some of these characters. He's definitely a lot smaller and not going to be anywhere near as close to some of these Mr. Olympia competitors that we're going to see, but he's definitely going to be more fit than a lot of the other ones. So now let's go ahead and get into some of your questions. So I put out a question on my YouTube on the community post, and a few of you had a few questions. And we're going to do this every day that I upload a new video like this for a while until we get through all of these characters. So if you have a fitness question or maybe a One Punch Man related question, which I'm not an expert on, just a fan of, I'm more of an expert on fitness, and let me know in the comments of this video, or you can let me know in this actual question as well. So Russell says, let's say I'm going to do 3 sets of 7 to 10 reps. Should I gradually increase the reps from 7 to 10 in each set, or should I decrease it from 10 to 7 and make up for it by adding more weights in each set? Complicated question, I know. All right, so this is a good question, Russell. What I would say is start with about 3 sets of 10 and go from there. It also kind of depends on what your what part of the mesocycle that you're in. So just a reminder, a mesocycle is about 4 to 6 weeks of training. So that would determine your intensity that you go. And obviously towards the end of the mesocycle, when you're getting closer to peak week, you're probably only going to be able to get maybe 3 sets of 10, then 3 sets of, it'll drop down to maybe like 7, 8, something like that. But I would always start with the 10 rep range first. Of course, it depends on your goals, and that's a very generalized question, but whatever you're going to do, if let's say it's 3 sets of 10, I would try to keep that throughout the mesocycle, and then if it just happens to drop, then it just happens to drop, and we want to keep that intensity still the same. But if you were going to do 3 sets of 7, you would keep that throughout the whole mesocycle as well. So you'd do 3 sets of 7, week 1, week 2, week 3, but you might increase your intensity or increase your weight each time that you go into the next workout. All right, so good question, Russell. I hope that was helpful. Let's see, we got a lot down here. Here's another one. What's the difference between a power lifter, bodybuilder, strongman, and weightlifter? This is a great question. A lot of people don't know the difference. So a power lifter and a weightlifter are somewhat similar. And a power lifter, the title is actually misnamed. So power is the strength that you can produce in a given amount of time. So you want to do it as quick as possible. So that's kind of what a weightlifter actually does, because a weightlifter does the clean and jerk and the snatch. And those people you'll see in the Olympics, you'll usually see them with the kg weights, the colorful weights, and they're in the Olympics on the platform in front of everyone. They're lifting the weight over their head. So they just do those 2 exercises. And then you have the power lifter who does they do strength movements. So it doesn't really matter how quick you do it. Of course, you still want to try and be explosive with it, but it just matters how strong are you in as far as like a 1 rep max goes. So a power lifter would do a bench, a squat, and a deadlift. So those are 3 strong lifts that you'll see them do. And then you see a bodybuilder, they don't actually weight lift for their competition per se. They do it to prepare for their competition. But a bodybuilder, like we mentioned earlier, is more of like a sculptor, and their body is what they're sculpting down. So you want to make sure if you're a bodybuilder, you get on stage and you're posing and you're showing your sculpture. That's what a bodybuilder does. They're trying to look for the muscle mass that a bodybuilder has, the leanness, the conditioning, the proportions. That's how they're judged. And then a strongman competitor is also kind of similar to a powerlifter. A lot of times you'll see strongman and powerlifters cross over, but they do a lot of unique events like the Atlas stones and just lifting heavy objects. Sometimes you'll see them pulling crazy things like cars up to airplanes and things like that. So they're doing kind of like more, I want to say functional kind of movements, but in a very strong type of environment. So these strongmen are kind of the strongest people in the world in functional type of movements, if that makes sense. It's probably not the best terminology, but it's not per se like one single lift like a power lifter does a bench press or a weightlifter does a clean and jerk. What's a good arm workout besides lifting weights? For this, I would say probably doing something like pull-ups. Pull-ups are really good. Now, of course, you're going to be lifting your body weight, but it's not necessarily lifting weights outside of your body. Another good one would be dips. So you could do dips on a dip bar, or you could do it on a couch or a bench or something like that. So those are 2 of my favorite ones. Even things like push-ups are going to work your arms in the long run as well. So hopefully you find that helpful. And then let's see. Got some funny questions down here. I see you guys. Okay, how to build PP. I'm going to leave that question up to you guys in the comments. But like I said, let's see here. If you guys have any more questions at all like this, feel free to leave it here in these comments, in the comments of this video. And then my plan is at least to do another video on the next character, which is going to be Dark Shine tomorrow or within the next few days. So yeah, leave a comment. Let me know if you like this style of video, if you're vibing with it, or whatever the kids say these days. And yeah, feel free to like, subscribe, and click that bell for the next one. I'll catch you guys later.